I typed it on Google, and then I went infinite banking system, and then Nelson Nash book comes up first, right? I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I read it in 2 days. I was just like, no freaking way.
You realized, okay, I want to be able to put the plug in the wall and unplug it when I want and plug it in when I want, relative to my interaction with society. Is that kind of what happened?
Yes. Well, no. When I bought the property going off grid, it was just a field, just a 2-acre field. And when I bought it, I wanted it to be mortgage free. That was my other freedom status. So being away from the banking system, because with the farm, I learned a few things about the mortgage and how it works. And like we talked about it before in our preview, it was just the freedom on the land sort of concept is like, how are banks charging us interest and out of nothing? And I just wanted to know, like, where's the money coming from? Because somebody put a bug in my ear that it's actually your promissory note. And when I looked at my mortgage contract, holy shit, it is my promissory note. And I'm like, I am promising to pay this, and then they're giving me the money based on this promissory note. And then when I hand them over, they just collect the interest on that. And I'm like, that doesn't sound fair. So I did confront the bank at the time, and I told them, hey, where does the money come from? And they're like, well, that's a lawyer question. We can't disclose that. And I was like, well, but this is the bank. Like, you're charging me interest on the money. Is this money created from my promissory note, that like this right here? And I just showed them the piece of paper, and I was like, we can't answer that. That's a question that you have to ask our, what's it called? Some type of a lawyer.
The legal team.
Yeah, the legal team. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I researched again. Is this really true? And then I was finding out, like people were trying to give up the mortgage. I mean, the banking system and obviously the legal system is all tied in together. So it's a really hard nut to crack. So it's not that you can just be like, hey, this is all my stuff. You can't do this. I'm not paying you back. No, that doesn't work. There's resources and foreclosure proceedings. So I was like, no, I don't want this anymore. So we just went off, and fortunately my wife followed me through it. So we sold that farm, and then whatever proceed we had from it, I wanted to find a piece of land that was mortgage free, independent. And so then I found this property. It was in the next valley over, and then I started building from there. And I'm like, I don't want to be tied into the power system. So I got myself some solar panels, and then I had to get myself a generator, because obviously here in Canada, we don't have sun in the winter time. And then at the time, I also had problems with pumping the water, because I had a 100-foot drop down below. Like it wasn't a flat land as I used to be. This was like a up top, and then an acre up top and an acre down below, right? And everything in between. And so then I had a plumbing system, so I had to generate enough power during the day to pump the water up and then collect it there, and then I could spread it around the farm up top, because I used to have the animals and everything up top.
You have new challenges to face after you've already conquered a bunch of them. And so what I'm hearing, Riccardo, is you've gone through a number of reinventions, but the theme of your life has been, number one, a curiosity to learn new things, research, grow, develop, grow yourself, grow things, grow your family, grow all the things that you need to use, independence, and a desire to have your version of freedom to the maximum capacity that's able to provide you. And your experience with the bank and just dealing with mortgages and things in that nature led you to understand that there must be a better way. So 2.5 years ago, somehow infinite banking jumped onto the scene for you? What happened? How did you become aware of IBC originally?
That's a great question. So obviously social media grew right over the years. It's becoming insane. And then obviously we all know that the microphones are on by now and they're listening to you and creating profiles, right? And I've always been looking to find out other out of the box sort of ideas and freedom. So that was in my profile, and it was also in my wife's profile because she was more towards health research and money and finances. And then she's like, hey Davis, have you ever heard about the infinite banking system? I just got this commercial and I looked at it, I was like, infinite policies, assets, this is what the rich people do. I was like, I don't know. No, I never heard of it. And then I researched it. I typed it on Google, and then I went infinite banking system, and then Nelson Nash book comes up first, right? I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So then I went and bought it, and I couldn't put it down. I read it. Yeah, I read it in 2 days. I was just like, no freaking way. I was just telling it to everybody. I had to repeat it because it just sounded so out of this world. I was like, you can become your own banker. I was like, it's everything, like it felt like the universe was like, finally, I got it. It's telling you, look, this is where you have to go. Right. And then I researched more into it. And that's how I got in contact with Ginger. Right.
Mhm.
I was like, because like it was related. They were promoting the Nelson book. So I was like, I called her up. I was like, is it true that there's no infinite banking system possibility, like policy writers here in Canada? Because at the time, Nash didn't know if there was anything in Canada. Maybe he mentioned 1 or 2 policies that you were able to underwrite. And then I was like, okay. Well, I talked to her and she's like, no, it's possible. It's possible. You got to read these books. And I'm like, oh my God, it's possible. No way. And then she ran the numbers of like a scenario for myself, what I was comfortable with. And then I was like, let's do it. I signed it up. And then I was telling to my friends, I was like, I know it takes time. It's like a long-term view, but because of my farming background, I knew what it takes, like seed savings and storing and
The idea of a seed bank,
yeah,
preserve it for a long time for emergencies, etc.
And then I was like, well, that's not the part about financing all your stuff, right? Like buying a car or buying real estate and doing deposits and everything.
We have a ton more amazing conversations and great clips just like this if you go right here. Or if you want to watch the rest of this conversation, the full episode, click right here.